Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for that bit of technical difficulty. Thank you for having us here, and thank you for my co-presenters earlier for setting the foundation of what I'll be discussing to you. Let me start off by saying that cybersecurity is a practice. Okay, cybersecurity is a practice. What I mean by that is that fundamentally, bad guys would always want to get our data in every way they can, 24/7, non-stop. That's their purpose. So what we need to do is continuously practice in protecting our assets. Protecting our assets, put it in a place so that we can secure the data, or the most important uh, thing for us. For in banking, the most important thing is what? Financial records. Healthcare, HIPAA records, government, confidential records are probably programmed. So anything that are considered to be crown jewel must be protected. So that is a practice, but not just a simple practice, a methodical one. We need tools, we need technologies, of course. To do those practices, to protect those data, to protect the assets, we need technology so that we can do it in a much more easier way. A methodical process, needing tools, enabling us so that all the data and the assets, so I keep on repeating, it's all about practice and protecting data and assets. So part of the cybersecurity, the overall picture, is to have security operations center. Gone are the days that we need to defend. You need to justify why we need cyber security operations center. Gone are the days that we need to call to our board meeting and say that we need SIEM, we need log management, we need unify all the data. Gone are those days. But right now, since we are at this stage, wherein even if you have the most advanced SIM solution, you're still going to get breached. That's why we need to supercharge our security operations center. And probably right now, all organizations right now that has their own security operations center looks like this. They have established their own security operations center, multiple monitors, big monitors, multiple people looking at their monitors, individuals. So they have established, they've gone through the process, they went on the road on doing and establishing their own security operations center because they have the budget and they have the people, they have the right process. Now, there's another type of security operations center. That is what we call managed security operations center. If they don't have enough people, we don't have the budget, they can go on and have it managed by the other gateway providers. And there's another type. Looking at this one, dreaming, they do know, they realize that they need security operations center, but they can't have one because they don't have the budget. Okay. So, security operations center right now is a must, is a necessity for any organization to prevent things like this from happening. You have all these security tools, and most of you probably handled firewall, IDS, EDR, at least 3. Very few are those that dedicated dun sa tool na nakasen sa kanila. Most of the time, they are maximized handling majority of those tools. What's the main challenge of having all these security tools? Earlier, we remember mention yung tinatawag na defense in depth. Putting a lot of security tools, perimeter on perimeter, stacking different tools up to, closing it into the most important assets or data that needs to be protected. So perimeter approach. We know that defense in depth right now is not working. Even if you have the best firewall, you have the best endpoint, you would know that there's a chance that you're still going to be breached. Or probably already breached, you just don't know. Because all these tools, all these security tools, generates different and multiple signals. Probably thousands of signals. Unfortunately, do we have time to review those signals? So the first thing that you would notice is that it's highly disconnected, very complex. And having that, it creates a blind spot for organization. Having multiple tools, even if it is those modern kind of tools, it creates blind spot. Administrative burden, having multiple dashboard, consoles to monitor, to manage. Imagine, firewall has its own dashboard, EBR, SIEM, SOAR, UEBA, NTA. Having all these tools, you need to go to different consoles. Do you have time to manage different consoles? Look at those consoles, read those events, signals that they are generating. Second is that those tools that generate signals, do we have the bandwidth to correlate? Probably you have an SIEM tool, pero if the SIEM tool requires you to modify, to customize, to tweak, how much time do you need to spend para modify these tools to fit into your environment and to monitor and track yung attack? Looking at this represents the daily job of an analyst. Looking at those data, looking at those events, manually correlating, finding the relationship from those events, requiring time. And before they even get to the point of having a fine rule, writing down the appropriate conditions and rules, too late, ransomware. Resulting to inefficient operation. The visibility that we need, not just simple visibility. When we talk about visibility, we speak of the terms of like risk, threats. Do we have it's not enough to collect the data, having all these tools, bring them into one repository, all the signals and data that they generate. What we need is to identify how much risk do we have based on those data. So it's related to the correlation capability, the bandwidth that we have to relate all those events. Resulting to chaos. Exhausted security. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to see in our environment if we don't have a means to automate some of the mundane tasks that security needs to do. How are we going to prevent things like this to happen? The most recent event. Probably they have the best firewall, they have the best endpoint. Unfortunately, still happen. It's like a time bomb. Yeah. How would we know na meron na palang compromised na system sa network natin, emanating several traffics, several activities, and then suddenly explode? That is why attacker against defender is always good. We have the best tools, we have the best security tools in place. Unfortunately, if we don't have the bandwidth to manage and monitor all those tools, we will fail. Probably end up in what? After the incident, replace your tool, evaluate another tool. You have invested on your current tools. You invested in your firewall, you invested in your endpoint. The next thing, the best, the typical approach, probably replace. But that should not be the case. You should be enhancing what you have because you already invested in what tools you have right now. And we all know that all these tools that probably you will be getting in and replace your existing will generate again similar data. More data, more event, more signals, more chaos. So this kind of approach is somewhat challenging. It's a journey. Cybersecurity is not just a simple placing tools, having a process, but it's a journey continuously. And those struggles must be addressed. And we know that in every journey, there's always a light. There's always an answer. Right now, probably you're looking at this your network, your cybersecurity is similar to this one. Several tools, telemetries are generated. You manually evaluate the results and data. What you need is something that will automate some of those manual tasks that you are doing. Having that guy doing the manual correlation, put an AI. An AI-based technology, a solution that will automate some of your tasks that should be focused on what? Remediation. And the Stellar Cyber have a tool for that, a solution for that. Looking at this dashboard, you have a means to see with threat intelligence automatically enriched events, incidents embedded on what we have seen, detected, categorized in stages. So if I were the analyst looking at this dashboard, it will be much easier for me to do my job. Instead of looking at all those events and analyzing it manually, immediately I can go to the most critical ones and see if I have a ransomware, go to my last stage exploitation. So every step of the way of the attack, we can monitor, we can detect, we can identify. So the way to do it is to collect data, not just collect data and bring them into one repository. We mustn't prevent our user to choose what kind of data they want. Meaning, if you have your preferred firewall, if you have your preferred EDR, or even other tools that you want, if you have multiple tools, you will not be prevented in using those. And that's what we meant by supercharging your security operations center. You won't be obligated to replace your existing ones. Just bring all those data that you need, we will collect that for you, regardless of what vendor, what product. They will be automatically enriched with threat intelligence embedded in our platform. Ingesting those data without prevention, without stopping what our customers want. So we don't care what kind of product or tools that you have, just put it in our platform. And you allow our platform to do what you normally does manually, correlate. We do that using our AI-based algorithm, our analytics platform. Everything here on the left side will be collected, we bring them to our platform, central repository, and our engine will run automatically on those two. And upon detection of those alerts, we will do our correlation also automatically using our AI. Which, right now, is our struggle. Having all these things in place, how much time do you need? How much time or how much effort you need to do for you to get there? The case management itself is quite taxing, especially if you don't have a good process. But we will help you enable your process through the tool that we have, our case management tool. What you're looking right now is our automated collection of events and alerts generated from the data that we've gathered. Here are the several alerts that we've defined, we have identified, and automatically correlated to provide a singular alert related to those events for as long as they have entities involved in one single activity. Somewhat related to doing incident response. How would I know how many devices, how many users, how many assets I have been impacted by a certain incident? So you have a way to visualize your environment. How much risk do you have? How much devices, how many of your users have been impacted? So to put it simply, for us, for you, we can partner with you to help you in simplifying your security operations center by simply collecting the data, regardless of what vendor or what type you have in your network. Automatically identify through our AI engine, and lastly, to do the response. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Valencia, for that supercharged presentation. As what he said, cybersecurity is a practice, and by doing this, we protect our assets. That's why everybody supercharge your security operations center, or else you will be suffering the burdens if we don't automate, right? What are those burdens if you remember? Disconnected and complex center, delayed investigation and response, inefficient operation, exhausted employees. He is smiling. Can you relate? Well, today, you know what? I want to say that you don't want to be sitting on a time bomb. You know, as I remember from his presentation, he said attackers always win against defenders. But this time, can we say to ourselves and to the person next to us, please, this time, let's win against attackers. Can we all do that? Can you say to the person next to you, let's win against attackers? There you go. I'm just checking if you're still awake. And I love what he said about cybersecurity being a journey. It is indeed a journey, but at the end of the tunnel, you will see the light, and that light is seeing the full benefits of digital transformation initiatives, minimizing cybersecurity risks.